So what we're finding is that for items that have just been marked out of stock, so no substitution, that winds up adding about 39 seconds of additional associate labor time per item to manage that exception. Now, when you move into the substitutions, that's a whole nother world, right? Because now, and depending upon the level of sophistication or how high touch of a process that you have in place, and many of our retailers pride themselves on having a very kind of concierge level type service. That time is going to be taken into contacting the customer, communicating that that there's a potential substitution, locating a correct one, and just basically that kind of negotiation process before that substitution has been accepted by the customer. So quite a bit of time that gets added when dealing with these exceptions. So the purpose of this study is to really kind of focus on the 80% that are really going to be those true out of stock type events. There's a lot of within that other 20%. There's certainly that is a very worthwhile problem to solve, and we think that there's things that stores can do immediately to mitigate those errors. So certainly we know for certain based on the data that a certain amount of this is just comes down to associate coaching and training. We certainly know that many of our retailers can improve, and I think across the board, retailers can improve location awareness and by improving their planograms. We know that a lot of times individual stores have a lot of leeway in terms of how they actually implement their planograms. But when your e-commerce program is really relying on that planogram, having accuracy to what's on shelf versus what's on planogram is really important. Improving your backroom replenishment, restock cycle times. So there's a multitude of things that stores can really do to manage those kind of that 20%. But we really are kind of putting that 20% that are falling outside of the out of stock into an operational. We consider those largely to be operational and behavioral problems that really are going to need to be dealt with at a store level.